Welcome, movie lovers, to another episode of Frame by Frame, a series dedicated to the craft of filmmaking. The Fast and Furious franchise, the cinematic equivalent of fast food. Watching these films taught me two things. First, there are fundamental rules to shooting a car chase. And second, Vin Diesel probably has a learning disability. But watching this series made me want to learn more about big screen car chases. My question, how do you keep a chase visually coherent? The answer? Motion vectors. Today, I'll show you how this principle has steered your eye through the Fast franchise's motorist mayhem. Well, at least between the times you weren't staring at Michelle Rodriguez's ass. Okay, so before we throw this car into gear, let's crack the manual on motion vectors. Think of a vector as an invisible line, the on-screen direction of a moving object. To see what I mean, instead of a bunch of blah blah blah, let's try a visual example. In this scene from Furious 7, Mr. Diesel drives the car from screen left to right, which creates a motion vector. Again, think of this as an invisible line created by the car. The car follows this vector in almost every subsequent shot. Now, why do this? Simple. Because if the car changes its motion vector from one shot to the next, it'll disorient the viewer. To illustrate my point, here's the same scene, recut. You see how when the vector changes, the scene just becomes, well, a total visual cluster? However, when the vector's maintained, the action's easy to follow. There's another visual fundamental at play here too, the 180-degree rule. Notice how almost every shot is facing the right side of the car? That's intentional, my friend. Here's why. Freeze this shot. Okay, envision the 180 as a line bisecting this car. Traditionally, you want to shoot your coverage on one side of this line or the other. If you flip-flop, you risk confusing the scene's geography. Layman's terms, you're going to make your viewers cross-eyed and they're not going to know what the hell's going on. To maintain your vector and 180, however, you're going to run into some limitations. For example, if you can only shoot the left side of the car and you have to show said car traveling from screen left to right, you're kind of restricted in the angles you can use. So, how do you get around that? Simple, with shots like these. Notice how these cutaways ride the 180, maintaining that pre-established geography. The car is also traveling on the Z-axis here, either driving away or toward us. Regardless, shots like these don't imply a change in direction, so they don't violate the previously established left to right motion vector. But alright, enough of this driver 101 shit. Answer me this, how do you shift from one motion vector to another? To find out, let's take a look at this scene from Fast 5. Diesel and Walker drive from screen left to right. Then they turn and continue forward on the Z-axis. Afterward, we see them driving from screen right to left, establishing, a new motion vector. Cool. But what if we want to establish that two cars are on a collision course? Well, you show one car, or in this case cars, traveling along one motion vector. Here, that vector is screen right to left. Then you show the opposing motorist traveling along the opposite motion vector, screen left to right. But let's watch that again in real time. That whip pan ties the geography together nicely, further suggesting these cars are on an intercept course. Then we get these shots. Both groups of cars are barreling down the Z-axis. Since such shots, again, don't imply a direction, we assume the vehicles are still heading toward each other. So, we cross our fingers, say a prayer, and we get our wish, a glorious wreck. But let's cut to the chase, shall we? The Fast and the Furious franchise might be a loud excuse for a buck. However, the series' best set pieces show how crucial motion vectors are to creating coherent action sequences. Sure, exploding Lamborghinis might get the applause, but it's motion vectors, a simple filmmaking principle that allows us to truly enjoy the ride. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and make sure to subscribe to this channel, Film Theory, for more fantastic film-related content. If you'd like to check out more Frame by Frame, click the frame to the left to watch an episode on the musical inspirations behind La La Land. or click the frame to the right to watch an episode of Film Theory. Until next time, my name is Kyle, and this has been Frame by Frame.